Hi everybody, my name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. So today I want to talk about our environment and who we spend time with. We are who we spend time with. So, when we're going through any kind of healing or any kind of spiritual awakening or anything like that, we have to be very mindful of what we allow into our energy. What we once tolerated, we can no longer tolerate. Like, for example, negative energy. We grew up in such a negative environment. We grew up in such, I suppose, from conditioned beliefs and from inherited traits. We grew up in this very negative, fear-based energy, and this is what we absorb. We absorb what we surround ourselves with. It's like when you're a child, you're a sponge. So your role models growing up and even your friends in your environment, your family members, you absorb that kind of energy. So, we take on the traits of the people that we surround ourselves with. And as we go through a spiritual journey or a healing journey or an awakening journey of any kind, we tend to no longer be able to tolerate that kind of negative energy. We tend to not be able to tolerate low vibrational energy, especially as an empath, or if you're sensitive to energy anyway, you're going to embody what you surround yourself with. And this is not just to people, this is your environment and what you consume in your daily lives. So this could be substances, this could be even the television you watch. If you're watching the news, like I had to give up watching the news. I used to watch the news all the time, twice a day. I used to read newspapers every day. But I had such a trauma in my life at one stage that this was before I even started my healing journey. I had to make the conscious choice not to watch news or read the paper anymore because of the trauma I went through. You didn't even have to open the newspaper and you would read a similar experience. And you can't heal from something if you surround yourself with it. You can't embody a healthier lifestyle or reality for yourself if you don't cut out the things that aren't serving you. Like, I used to suffer from anxiety and depression, and you watch the news or you read a newspaper and you're not going to feel good after it. You're not. And people are like, you need to stay on a closet, you need to keep up with the times. No, you don't. I'm sorry. Like, I care about what's happening in the world. Of course I do. And I have compassion for that. But how am I supposed to heal other people if I don't heal myself? And if you're putting something or allowing something into your environment that is depleting your energy, that is making you feel physically and emotionally ill, then you cannot embody that. You cannot allow that in. And, as I said, I was healing from a major trauma, and to be reminded of that trauma every time I looked at the newspaper or watched the news, you can't heal from something you're trying to, you can't surround yourself with something that you're trying to heal from. So you need to be mindful. It's like cleansing or decluttering your environment. And I did a video on that already, but this is very, very important. Like, if you're surrounding yourself, like I call it, right, when I grew up in a village, like a town. And a lot of towns, especially in Ireland, have a small town mindset. They don't think outside that town. It's very conditioned, very negative, very same shit, different day mentality. And, you're deemed as crazy if you think outside the box or if you don't do things like I just, you just don't have ambition. You don't see more of the world. And because you're surrounded by that energy, that atmosphere, you embody that atmosphere. And before I left that town, and it took a trauma for me to leave that town. I didn't, I would still be there. Oh my God, even thoughts of that breaks my heart. I would still be there if it wasn't for that trauma. That scares me. And we say we regret our past, or I wish this didn't happen. But if my trauma hadn't happened, I wouldn't have left that town. And a part of me now kind of feels grateful for that, even though I'm not grateful for what happened. It's a bit weird. But what I'm saying is, it takes for a tower moment for us to leave these situations or to change the things we allow into our environment. It does. It takes for a pain for us humans to move. And it takes for the universe to throw a grenade into your life before you actually embody this change. But when you look back, you see how many toxic traits that you embodied or absorbed because of the people or the things that you allowed into your life. So if you're around negative people who are constantly talking about money, constantly talking about how they don't have this, they don't have that, constantly talking about depressing things, you're going to embody that as well. You're going to feel that energy. And I used to be so pessimistic. I used to be so negative. The only thing anyone ever talked about was money and not having enough of it. And you allowed that into your energy, and that depletes you. Especially when you're going through this healing journey and you're ascending and you're embodying a high vibrational reality or high vibrational energy. Being around negative energy actually really, really damages you. And I know this for a fact because I've had to walk away from a lot of negative energy over the last few years because I cannot be around it. It depletes me, even in jobs. When you're in a job, say a 9-to-5 job, an environment, doesn't matter what kind of an environment that job is, there's always gossip and bitching going on in jobs, and I hate it. I can't stand it. I can't stand other people talking about other people. It really, really, it hurts my soul to feel that. And, I've walked away from so many people just with the hint of negativity when I started to realize what I was allowing into my energy. I used to be surrounded by narcissists. Even as friends, I used to let narcissists into my house because they were friends with my friends. You know what I mean? I used to allow this energy into my life, and I used to be depleted because of it. When I started to see that pattern, I started to cut those people out. But then I started to see tiny bits of negativity creeping in through my other friends and their words and stuff. And I had to walk away from even the smallest sign of negativity so that I wouldn't get reabsorbed back into that energy. And the hardest one for me was walking away from my dad last year because he is the embodiment of negative energy. And I'm sorry, I still love him to pieces. But my God, he could turn on the television and he'd be bitching about the newsreader. That to me would be like a little kind of a stab in my heart in a sense. Listen to this negative energy. If I spoke over him, he'd get angry, be like, don't be talking, I can't hear the television. Turn up the fucking television. Are we not supposed to have a conversation? Do you know, this kind of way? I haven't seen you in a month. Let's have a conversation instead of you staring at the television shouting at it. Do you get me? This kind of, all this toxicity coming in. You're walking on eggshells around these people because you're afraid to say anything because you know they're going to retaliate. Simple little things. I was closing up and my health was deteriorating because even though on my ascension journey, I knew that I had to cut out negative energy and walk away from negative people. My dad was my dad. And I was like, I can't walk away from him. I'll set boundaries. But then when the boundaries kind of caved in and I ended up becoming codependent on him, I allowed that energy into my life and I disappeared completely. I lost all sense of self and who I was. How I felt after hanging around him for a year and a half without boundaries was as bad, if not worse, than I felt after an 8-year narcissistic relationship. This is what low vibrational negative energy does to you. It depletes your mind, your body, and your soul. My health was deteriorating, both mental and physical. It was so toxic that even when I wasn't around him, I could feel his fear-based energy on a telepathic level. I had embodied, or a fear-based entity had attached to me through him. And it was only after walking away from all this toxic energy that I realized that how bad it had gotten. I knew when I made the hard decision to cut those ties that I was gone to the worst that I could possibly get. But after I stepped away and looked back, I was like, oh my God, if I hadn't walked away when I did, I don't know if I'd be here, to be honest with you. I really just don't, because I look back now and I see how bad it was. How lethargic I was, how weak I was. I couldn't stand outside my front door. I live in the countryside. I couldn't even stand outside my front door because of this toxic energy. If I received a phone call from my dad, I would spend 3 days trying to heal from that vibrational energy he was sending through. Always negative, always pessimistic, always low vibrational. This is the thing, and that's the thing with watching news or even being on social media too much. It actually drains you. And like, you know, I've done this. Could be scrolling on social media for hours and I feel this dense, heavy, it's like an icky energy. I feel depleted. I feel drained. My brain feels like mush because I'm absorbing all this energy through the phone. And you know, that's good and bad energy I'm pulling in. But a lot of the time, especially when it comes to the news and false media, we're taking on this energy. This is what we're allowing into our systems. You know, drinking, taking drugs, eating unhealthily. This is all a part of what we're allowing into our system to deplete our energy. You know, our ego mind comes back in and is like, oh, it's a nice treat, It's a nice treat to feel good. Because I've gone through those ego minds saying, I can't change, I can't do this. What would people think? And like, that's the thing with news, especially in Ireland. Oh, you have to watch the news. You have to watch the news or you won't know what's going on in the world. And yeah, you'll have nothing to talk about. Talk about something happy, for God's sake. Like, you know, I overhear people on the street. I overhear people in these small towns. And all they have to talk about is death and fucking negativity. It breaks my heart. Like, come on, why don't you just say something nice for a change? Jesus. Sorry. But every time I walked past a group of ladies on the street the other day and they were speaking about death and who died lately. Like, why are we always talking about such negative, depleting energy? And even thinking about it right now is upsetting me. Okay, sorry, I didn't expect that to happen. But like, it really does deplete me why people are so negative. They need to start embodying some life and light into their lives. You know, let's talk about good things. Let's talk about the birth of that baby. Stop talking about the first negative thing that comes to your head, because we have more to talk about than this. We have better to talk about. We need to remove this negative energy from our lives because it's hard. It hurts the soul. It hurts the heart to be around that kind of toxicity. Like, I've had to walk away from so many people in my physical reality. Most of my community right now are online, or you know, a couple of really good friendships that I speak to over the phone. And, you know, I've had to cut out every negative person that came into my life because I realized I was allowing such toxicity into my home. And now I won't let people into my home. I will go, if I'm meeting up with anyone or, you know, I have to do anything, I'll do it out of my home because I do not want to allow, or, you know, in case I allow negative energy into my life. But the more I vibe high, the more I actually attract higher vibrational energy into my life. We make those hard decisions. We cut out those toxicity. We cut out that low vibrational energy. And it's hard. It feels lonely at the start. It does. You know, you do feel like your abandonment wound is triggered, your rejection wound is triggered, because you've had to literally almost leave every single person you've ever known. Because when we were in that reality, that's who we embody. That's who our support network is. That's how we grew up. But as we try and create or as we continue to create a new version for ourselves, a new reality for ourselves, these people are no longer going to be a part of who we are. And that's so hard. It's hard, especially when they're friends and family members. You know, when they're acquaintances, when it's work, it's hard too. But it's really, really hard when it comes to friends and family. But we have to choose to get better ourselves. We're here to change things on this planet, and we cannot do that if we're unwell. We cannot do that if we're in a low vibration energy. We cannot do that if we're absorbing this negativity and this toxicity, because when you absorb it, you become it. When you're in that reality, you embody it, and that is what it is. You are who you choose to be around. You are who you have in your environment. You are what you choose to listen to. And that's it. You know, you're listening to this negative energy, you're listening to this toxicity, you're listening to this low vibrational stuff, you're listening to people gossip about other people. You're going to be that yourself, and it's disgusting. Why do people talk about others? It's not nice. You know, unless you're saying something good, don't say anything. And that's the way I see it. You know what I mean? It's all well and good talking about somebody once you're saying good things and you're uplifting that person and speaking highly of that person, because we're all equal. And when you speak negatively about somebody else, it's actually something that you're embodying yourself. So you're taking on that toxic trait. If you're speaking ill of somebody else, you're actually embodying what you're speaking ill of. So gossiping, anything like that, it's toxic. Stay away from it. Walk away from these energies. No matter how hard it is, you need to look after yourself. If you want to make a change in this world, you need to start by changing yourself, and you need to start by changing your environment. So check how do you feel? How do you feel around certain people? Are they making you feel low? Are they making you feel insecure? Are they making you feel sad, upset, or any kind of weakness? Because that's what it is. When these energy vampires come in, they actually suck away your life force energy, and they make you feel depleted. They make you feel weak. They make you feel just, I don't know how to describe it, just meh. Just like you just have no will to live. And that's what it's like. That's how I used to be when I used to hang around with these people. I'd literally straight away go from being in a good mood to feeling like I can't do anything. I can't move. I can't actually speak. I don't have any energy. I've no will to live. I've no will to talk. I've no will to do anything. If people are making you feel like that, if people are sucking that life force energy out of you, walk away. No matter how hard it is, choose yourself. Choose to bring your health back. Choose to make yourself the best you can be, so that you can be the best you can be for the other people in this world. And I know we try to bring these people with us, but sometimes we can't. And sometimes we need to embody this higher version so that we can look back and say, come on with me now. I'm showing you proof. You can get out of this too. We cannot help anyone unless we help ourselves first. And it starts by cutting out that toxic energy that we allow into our lives. It starts by cutting out that negative environment that we're living in, because we will absorb it and we will become it. If you put a good apple into a bowl of bad apples, what happens to that good apple? It will rot. Take yourself out of that bowl of apples and start to just thrive again. Become healthy again. Become high vibrational. You know, live your life so that you can change this world for the better. Change the world for yourself for the better. Change the world for humanity for the better. And then change the world for these people. But you can't change it if you're allowing this energy to deplete you. So be mindful of what you allow into your environment. Be mindful of what you allow into your body. Food, substances, what you absorb and watch on television. And that's another thing, like even certain programs. Like I used to love horror movies. I still love a good horror movie, but I can't actually watch them anymore because I'm so connected to spirituality now that I'm afraid it'll let in bad entities and stuff. And it's scary because we all know that we have nightmares after watching a movie too late. But it's other things, violence as well. Like I can watch some action movies now, you know, providing there's a little bit of comedy in them. But there's certain war movies I can't watch anymore because it upsets me too much. There is certain programs I just cannot watch anymore. Like, for example, I used to love watching, you know, CSI and stuff like that. But because of certain things, I actually had to stop watching that as well because it brought up certain things that I didn't want to be reminded of, say. So I stopped watching kind of any kind of crime dramas or anything like that. And I used to love watching true crime and stuff like that as well. But I can't watch that anymore because it hurts me too much. I feel it too much. My energy has become more sensitive. So I care too much about these things that I actually have to avoid watching them now. So I try to stick with comedies and rom-coms and love movies now. And I do love my action films as well. I love my sci-fis and all that. But I had to be very careful, because even there was actually a new movie that came out, and I saw the ads and I was like, oh, this is quite funny, this was good. But I watched about 5 minutes of it, and there was a really, really graphic, violent scene in it, and I was like, no, I can't watch this. I just couldn't. It did something that I just couldn't watch it. And, you know, I could have watched that before, you know, that kind of way. But I just, certain things I just can't watch anymore. And if I feel that negative energy straight away, I'll just turn it off. So just be mindful of who you allow into your environment, what you allow into your environment, what you absorb by what you watch. Don't be watching that negative stuff. If something makes you feel bad, like, you know, a lot of the people just watch news because everyone watches the news and you need something to talk about. Talk about something happy. Please talk about something happy. You don't need to do what everyone else does. You don't have to be watching the news because it's expected of you. Like, you know, it really just, you don't have to do what other people do. If it makes you feel unwell, cut it out. This is it, like, and that's why, like, you know, I relapsed when it came to my sweets and stuff. You know, I cut out sweets for a long time, and then I for my birthday, I overindulged, and I felt like shit. Now I don't want to eat sweets because I know now that I feel healthy is way better than eating a sweet. It's just, you know, I'd rather not have that chocolate and feel good in my body. Like, I'll still have chocolate from time to time, but I don't overindulge now because I know it's not good for me. This is the same as what you watch, who you allow into your environment, and that's work environments as well. Not just friendship and family. You know, if you're in a toxic work environment, if you're not being treated right, if it's draining you to go into work every day and depleting your energy, find yourself something that will uplift your soul, that doesn't deplete. If you're working for another narcissistic boss like I did, ask yourself, is this going to make you good? Like, when you're going into work with that knot in your stomach, that gut-wrenching pain in your tummy, telling you that you don't want to be in this environment. If you're going to go and see someone, a family member, and you get that knot in your stomach, that gut-wrenching feeling, that is your soul trying to tell you that this is not what you want to be around. So if you need to cancel plans because you don't feel well, do that. Listen to your soul. And that's when I started to walk away from family members as well, or friends. Like, I like, even it was New Year's a few years ago, before I actually, you know, did walk away from that energy. I had been getting the signs for a long time to walk away from that group. And it was New Year's, and my tummy, I just didn't feel well. I was getting this fear, I was getting this emotion. For the first time in my life, I didn't want to go up and have a party with these people. And that broke my heart because they were my best friends. But I had to listen to my body. And I chose that year to spend New Year's on my own because my body was telling me I couldn't go up there. And it was one of the hardest decisions I had to make. And I did the same thing for birthdays as well, because I was like, there's something telling me I can't be around this energy anymore. And the same thing started happening with my dad. And the same thing, you know, starts happening with narcissistic bosses. When you're feeling, your whole body and your mind is telling you with pain, your body's in pain, telling you not to be around these people, you have to listen to it. When you're in pain watching something, don't watch it. Like, I'm all for watching a sad movie and having a cry, but that's different. When you're absorbing this false, and a lot of the news is false, it's over-exaggerated to put that fear in you. You know what I mean? So you don't know what is true and what is not. But you can't help others if you're letting your energy deplete. You need to look after your mind, your body, your heart, your soul first. Embody that high vibrational energy so that you can help people. But if you're still absorbing all this negativity, you're not going to be able to embody a high version of yourself, and you won't be able to help anyone, and you definitely won't be able to help yourself. So get out before it's too late, because I'm telling you, if I didn't solidly make those decisions to walk away from people that were no longer serving me, I would not be sitting here in this healthy, happy state right now. And I look back to a year ago and I'm like, whoa, it was a hard decision, but I was in a very, very, very unhealthy body and mind back then. And now I'm embodying higher vibrational reality. I'm attracting high vibrational people into my life because I've chosen to cut that negativity out of my life. So make that hard decision today. But it's a hard decision, but it will be the best decision you will ever make. So I really hope this helps, and if it resonates, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. So please book me for a discovery call today, and we can see what the future holds for you and bring you on your journey of self-discovery and of embodying that new higher vibrational version of yourself. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you again. Bye-bye.